Hello, my name is Rebecca, and like my compadres, I'm going to tell you my thoughts on interactive whiteboards. My apologies that this is such a belated presentation, but we're going to begin now with the worries that I have about interactive whiteboards. In a class not so long ago, we were using a smartboard, and when I say using a smartboard, I might mean abusing or failing to use appropriately because it was just not functioning. And I wrote bad poems, such as the one you can read right here, about how there is no power in her point, and how the offline lined paper content. And yeah, I was just very upset about the way it was not functioning. Um, so I think that Trudy Sweeney was correct in her article when she wrote, teachers can feel anxious and irritated when the technology is unreliable, and they frequently need to invoke a backup plan. This is a frustration I've seen many teachers have, and I myself, to some extent, have felt as a student waiting and waiting and waiting, so bored for a teacher to get something to work. I just want to bang my head against a board. But yet there's also some wonderful things about interactive whiteboards. Again, Trudy Sweeney wrote, teachers decide whether they will continue to do old things in new ways or aim to do new things in new ways. And I'm not really sure which teacher I will be because of the frustrations I have experienced, because of the need oftentimes to incorporate a backup plan. I'm not sure how committed I am to whiteboards. But if I am using them to do things I could not do with a regular whiteboard, with a regular projector, then I might be a bit more committed. And here we have something that perhaps might work a little better on an interactive whiteboard than it would on just a projector. I'm using Tagxedo, I believe it's called. And what I've done is I've just taken the homepage of Prezi and stuck it into Tagxedo. You can also use text, such as an essay or a poem. And the words that are used most frequently will be largest. So this allows you to analyze whether a word was perhaps overused or what might be the theme of the poem, perhaps. If you did the raven, nevermore is huge, as is raven. So it allows students to see if they're perhaps overusing a word. And you can play around with this a lot. Right now I'm going to choose a check mark for the shape because we're checking out Prezi. Oh yeah, I'm clever. You can change the colors and the font. You can even make t-shirts if you really want to, but they're a bit cost prohibitive. And now I'm going to confusingly look for full screen and click it. Da, 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 da. And you can make just interesting forms of art out of words, which allows our students to encounter a bit more mixed media, which is fun. So that's one thing that you can do with an interactive whiteboard that might allow for some differentiation among students and some activities if some get done before others. And it can be flurries of fun. So I think the way to negotiate interactive whiteboards might be keeping in mind both the worries and the wonders. You might have to have a backup plan or some kind of unit that allows you to switch pieces around if necessary, if you have a day when perhaps the intranet is not working. So you have to be very creative in that regard. So I'm excited about interactive whiteboards to some extent, but still I have one final concern. One day, just last week, I was in Kappa for the whole day and in Student Achievement Center the whole afternoon. Kappa, as you know, is Pittsburgh's fine arts high school and middle school with tons of resources. Student Achievement Center is located in Homewood and has many fewer resources. And I'm a little concerned that some may be marginalized because they do not have technology either in their homes or in their schools, so they may not be as comfortable with these things. So that's just something I also want to be aware of as I am teaching, to be sensitive to my student needs and how they best learn. Well, thank you for your time. This has been Becca's belated presentation on interactive whiteboards.